Thank you. This is the time for the audience to ask questions. Does the audience have any questions for the candidates of Local Affairs Commissioner?
All right, my name is Joel Harness. My question is specific to resident students. Resident students at the University of Guelph campus never have to leave this campus. They can get a haircut here, they can go shopping for organic foods, they can buy clothes in the UC, they can mail. Everything that they need is very much so in the university center or on campus. How do you intend on connecting those 5,000 resident students with the Guelph city and making them feel a part of the city of Guelph?
Arden first to answer.
Okay, thanks, Joel. I think students do have a lot of access to stuff on campus, but one of my ideas was to bring local farms onto campus with a CSA for the CSA. Community-supported agriculture is a growing movement in Ontario, and I'd really like to see both resident students who have to cook for themselves as well as people living on campus connect on that issue. Affordable food is a huge issue for students as tuition gets to rise. So I'd like to connect with that. I'd also like to connect with students on volunteering downtown, increase opportunities with that with the CSA. And like I mentioned, I think a lot of students on residence are also looking for employment, and sometimes that's hard because financial services can only offer up a certain amount of jobs. I'd really like to hook students up with jobs downtown as tuition continues to rise, but I'd also like to advocate for a tuition freeze. So thanks, Joel.
Caitlin?
Thank you. As a current resident student, I really do understand this issue quite well. And I think that volunteerism is something that really needs to be focused on. There's many different ways for students to be engaged on this campus, and I think for the most part, students are unaware of how to be involved in their community. Because unfortunately, we can be two different spheres, the sphere of community and the sphere of campus. And that's something that I really want to bridge. And I want to do that through communication, through current writing in both newspapers, both in the Mercury and the Ontarian, so that students know. Resources are very important for students, and being involved in the community helps to open their eyes and to understand what is more important. Creating websites where students, again, can dialogue and converse with one another. What are the sort of things that other students are involved that might engage certain resident students? Having that communication, not only between executive and students, but students and students, I think is very important.
Next question would be Caitlin first to answer.
Hi, my name is Doug Piper. I'm the current academic commissioner. While there are specific tasks assigned to specific CSA commissioners, many students don't understand the differences between the portfolios. So I'm wondering if you could comment to your ability to work within a team of 5 executives in a non-hierarchical system.
That's a great question, because it's something actually that I am doing right now. As the central coordinator of Meal Exchange, I work with 2 other coordinators, promotion and education, and as well volunteer and donations coordinator. I think that connecting with people and understanding a common goal is really important. As an executive of the CSA, the first thing I would do is to sit down with the 4 other executives and really align our priorities. We've been elected by students, and it's important that we're speaking on their behalf. In order to do this, we need to have a clear understanding, and by connecting as an executive, that's really important. As for my portfolio, I will be supervising Meal Exchange, the Food Bank, and the Bike Center. The Food Bank and Meal Exchange I have worked closely with the last 3 years, and I have a clear understanding of their objectives, goals, and their connection to campus and community.
Arden?
Thanks. I'd just like to say that I think it's fantastic that our CSA is formatted in a non-hierarchical manner. A lot of other campus unions are not. They have a president, but our executives all have the same amount of power and hours on the job, and I think that's fantastic. Since I started as a student, I've been attending workshops on consensus decision making and non-hierarchical working environments in general. So I'm pretty well versed on that sort of thing. And I kind of set out some goals to work specifically with the other execs with F&HR on finding better employment options for students, on external and advocating for tuition freeze. with communications on revamping the website to do with transit issues and with academic, finding out how to make textbooks a lot cheaper and working with faculty on that. So thanks for your question, Derek.
Next question will be Arden first to answer.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Dow, and this is something that just sort of popped into my head. Regarding tuition freezes and tuition hikes, don't you think tuition freezes are sort of dead at this moment because what has happened in recent years? Dalton McGuinty has unfrozen tuition, and he is still in office, so how do you think you would go about solving, the issue of tuition hikes?
Thanks for your question. The CFS, the Canadian Federation of Students, has planned actually 2 days of action coming up to demand a tuition freeze, and I think that's an excellent idea. I took part in the one 2 years ago, and I was disappointed that there was not one this year. I think that really demonstrated a certain amount of apathy on the part of CFS. And there's one in the fall. There's an Ontario rally for tuition freeze, a provincial one, and I think that we as the CSA should really organize around that next year, get a lot of students involved, show a lot of support for that, hike up student interest in demanding a tuition freeze, because it's happened in the past, and I fully believe that it can happen in the future again. And I think having one in the fall is beneficial because students will go out because it won't be so cold. It was like -14 at the last one. So I really, really want to organize around a rally and a march demanding that there's another tuition freeze.
That's a huge issue, and I think that higher education should be accessible to all people. Building on what Arden said, I was disappointed there was not a day of action this year. I think that we need to build up this issue and to continue to make sure that students are aware of where our government is currently standing on this. And that is something that the CSA should be making more aware to students. I think having, again, more rallies and more awareness, and then connecting with other universities on a provincial level, so that as students we can really make a noise and really make a movement on this issue. And we can't do that without collaboration. Collaboration within university, between universities, and as students in a province. Thank you.
We have to wrap up this debate, so each candidate have a minute of closing statement. Caitlin would be first to close the statement.
Thank you all for attending. That was a very impromptu little rally, but that's awesome. That demonstrates what happens when collaboration happens. That's what demonstrates what happens when awareness of an issue is raised. And that's exactly what I think should happen with the CSA. I think that students need to be more aware of transit issues and how those are affecting them now, in the future, next year, as well as tenancy issues. Students need to know their rights as students and as tenants, as roommates living in this community. I think that it's really important that students are aware of the issues and events, and that's something that I really want to address as Local Affairs Commissioner. Thank you.
Arden?
Thanks. That was actually really awesome. I love seeing organized action like that. I couldn't have thought of anything better. And I'd really like to see students take up on that. And yeah, my closing remarks would be definitely concerned with the community and getting students involved in the community action, hooking up with other workers such as QP, helping organize to lobby the university and the government. I think there could be a lot more potential for the CSA to act on really important issues to students, like affordable housing, affordable food, employment, tenancy, all that good stuff. So I'd really like to be there in the CSA next year to make sure that happens. I'd just like to finally note that I think students need to know that they not only go to school in Guelph, but that they live in Guelph. So thanks everyone for coming out to listen to us.
Thank you, Arden, and for your time, and good luck with the election.